Hey, church family. It is Gary and Emily again. We are asking another favor of you. So we are in need of Christmas stories for our podcast. We are going to do a Christmas story episode just like we are doing and did the Thanksgiving story. So if you have any ideas, any recipes you want to share with us, funny stories, we are loving the funny stories. If your family is an actual Griswold family, we want to know what you have to give us. So if you are listening or if you're watching, so it just depends on how you're going to see it, the cast First Assembly at gmail.com. That is where you're going to email to. Gary, take it away.
We would like to have those stories by November 17th. That way we can get them out in time for our Christmas episodes.
So you have your instructions. If you cannot email it to us, just find Gary or myself and we will get those stories in. And we can't wait to hear everything that you want to share. Thanks.
It's great. It only took 7 tries.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
Welcome to the cast. I'm Gary West. We've got Emily Taylor as normal and Pastor Chris Stubbs and Amy Stubbs. Are you technically a pastor?
No, not yet.
We can't put that label on you yet?
No,
okay.
Just Amy.
Just Amy. But I want to thank you guys. If you've watched one episode or you've watched them all, we'd like to thank you for joining us and watching these episodes. We hear some feedback. Mm-hmm. Most of it's positive. I think overwhelmingly it's been good. So hopefully this is helping you guys grow. You're finding it somewhat entertaining and you're learning more about Jesus and the people in our church. And to get us started, Tim, you've got something to get us going, right?
I do. It's going to be a little bit of a question, kind of like we've done in past episodes, a kind of guess the answer kind of thing.
Okay,
cool. So what we've got going on today is how much did the world's most expensive Thanksgiving dinner on record cost?
Oh.
What are your thoughts on that?
How much did the most expensive?
Is it at like a restaurant or?
Do we have any clues?
Let's call it a big event.
Okay.
Oh.
So this could have happened at like the White House?
Yeah.
Something like that, yeah?
Yeah.
Or is it like we're going to feed 10,000 people at once to be the Guinness World Record?
It was designed to serve 12 people.
Oh,
okay.
Catching up to the article here, yeah.
Okay.
3-course
people.
meal? Like.
Okay.
I'm going to say $6,700.
Oh, no, man.
Emily, what you got?
Well, I had an answer, and then Amy said that, and I was
She
like,
took your answer with that?
No. I thought, okay, maybe I'm really jumping here. I'm gonna roll with. Maybe they're really hungry. $250,000. They had gold.
Yeah.
Holy smokes.
Gold
Okay. All right.
sprinkled on their food.
Yeah, your turn.
All right. I'm not quite there, but I think we're talking stupid amounts of money. So I do think it's $18,000. I'm going to go $18,000, $1,500 a person.
See, I was thinking $1,000 a person.
Me too.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going with $12,000.
$12,000. All right.
Yeah.
You ready for this? It's going to blow your mind. $181,000.
Good night.
What did they eat?
Well, apparently, the old Homestead Steakhouse in Manhattan served up the most expensive Thanksgiving dinner in 2019.
Oh.
Designed to serve 12 people, it included 2 20-pound free-range turkeys covered in $2,000 in edible gold flakes and seasoned with imported spices from
I
the
totally
Middle
made
East.
that up. That's a real thing?
Apparently it is.
Gold dust.
I didn't know you could
there was gold dust.
ingest that.
Well, technically, you can ingest, like, if it's a small enough amount, you can ingest it. Not that I've ever done it.
I was going to ask.
I'm scraping all that turkey gold up, and I'm taking it somewhere.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
$2,000 worth of flaked gold.
And it had
But that's still not very much.
$3,650 worth of cognac included in the seasoning.
Yeah,
Yes, cognac.
Get a little
Can't say these things.
alcoholic beverages.
things.
It's all right. We're glad. I'm not sure how that worked out. I knew how to pronounce it, and you didn't.
I don't know about
Listen,
that.
I tell my kids often I love Jesus, but I haven't always loved Jesus.
You know, there
It
you
had
go.
nothing to do with that.
They had a really
But they had a lot of
exciting
stuff, and
Thanksgiving.
I don't know how they got the price that high, because even the ingredients I see, and there's pages of them, don't seem like they would cost that much. But there you go,
What was it,
181,000.
Well, how much was it?
181,000
81,
dollars.
would you say?
250.
Yeah, she went over.
You were
Yeah.
shockingly close, though.
But that was close. And I
was.
said the gold flakes.
Yeah.
Also, I think she has to win. She was definitely closer than we were.
So,
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
the winner.
granted, it was in Manhattan. Everything's more expensive there. Did it say who it was, like why they ordered it, what kind of... Where do these
It
people
does
get their
not
money
say
from?
who it was.
Yeah, but once you start getting into some of that and like especially alcohol stuff gets expensive,
That's
stupid
true.
really quick.
Oh, yeah.
And then I mean gold flakes. I mean, but it was like gold flakes everything. Like what is the gold flakes of ice cream? What is the so we flew it in from some place in Siberia or what I mean everything was the most
Yeah.
expensive version
Dubai
of it that you can
chocolate
get. Yeah.
on the.
Mm.
Yeah. So
From
they just
actually
ended up
Dubai.
like, okay, we want caviar. Well, where's the best caviar? Okay, we'll fly it in from Russia. Or just nonsense.
Special flies back, guys.
181,000.
It's another special guest for us.
That's more than my house.
Mine.
Like,
I've owned it a long time, but still.
let's be honest.
A horrible realization.
Yeah, I did. And like, here I am,
Yeah.
eat canned spam or something. They're over there with gold flakes on their turkey.
But you're doing just fine.
Oh, I love the
We're
way I
feeling
live.
good. We're feeling good about this.
I don't want to spend that on.
Well, yeah, I couldn't spend $185 on a
No.
meal and feel okay about it. So
Well, per person, maybe. You would spend $185 on a Thanksgiving meal. I hate to inform you.
what?
His best, you don't know.
$185?
No, I mean for my person, yeah.
Oh, per person. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say, yeah, for everybody. Mm-hmm.
But even still, that
be
raises some
$185.
questions. We've spent $185 on a Thanksgiving meal. You think?
Probably
Groceries
from
are
top to bottom. If I have a lot of people, yeah.
I know
We
this.
don't usually have less than 10 people.
I looked at the oil I need to fry my turkey with.
Yeah.
Just the oil alone is $55.
I've never deep fried a turkey,
Yeah,
so that's the good news about that. But I like to get everything on sale, but that's still probably going to be costing
You just said, mm-mm.
$185.
All right, let's jump into today's topic. What do you have for us, Pastor?
All right, so we're going to continue talking about the This Is Us series. We've talked last time about kind of why we exist, which we boiled down into a simple statement. We exist to love God authentically and to love people into life. I think the more we can appropriately simplify what God's called us to, I think we would learn from Scripture that's what it is. So that's kind of the starting thing. Okay, so how we're going to do it. And then we talked vision last time, just about how we plan to help people step into an abundant and transformed life by helping them to engage in a couple of different areas that we as a church want to help people to pursue God. We want to create spaces and places where we do that. We want to help people to develop community that God's called us to gather together, to be together. We want to help people to grow in their understanding of the Lord, their knowledge of who He is and how He's gifted them and how He's going to use them. We want to help people to invest themselves, their own talents, their own efforts, their own energies into the kingdom, and then to go. We're gonna be purposeful about going into the world, and so we talked about those 5 words: to gain, to gather, to grow, to give, and to go.
Mm-hmm.
And so, really, the next step in that journey is okay. That all sounds great on paper. That sounds wonderful. We all recognize, hey, we like that, but what do we have to do? What do we have to become? Really, and the word I've chosen to use for it is to value. What do we value? What do we have to value as people? And I think for me, the reason I choose value is because it helps us to kind of understand, these are things that I need to hold important. It doesn't mean we do them perfectly or do them all the time or have them all together, but these are things that we have to value. If I value something, I'm moving towards it. We know what people value by what their lives look like, by the words they use, by the places they go, by the things they live in, the stuff they own. You can tell what people value by what they spend their time doing. And it's kind of that idea. To me, that idea of valuing is not about perfection. It's about, okay, this is what I'm aiming for. And so we're going to take some time over the next 2 episodes to talk a little bit about things I think we need to value as people in order to get where we want to go, to see the vision that we want to see. So we're going to take some time and talk about those. We'll take 4 tonight in this episode, and we'll take 4 in the next episode. And so we're just going to walk our way through each one of them. I want to hear in kind of each one of these, there's kind of two underlying questions there. What resonates with you about this thing? What sits well with you? What inspires you? And then the second part of that is maybe what's a challenge. And we might not have anything that's a challenge in each one. We might have something that's different. So just kind of as we walk through that, those are the underlying questions there. Okay?
I was just watching you battle your yawn.
Oh man, I don't know what my problem is, and once it starts, there's no stopping.
Stop it.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm fighting a yawn.
Just don't swallow the fly.
I'm gonna try not to
It's going to be a challenge.
because it will.
They're bombarding.
It will wiggle and jiggle and
Oh god.
The chances aren't zero.
Not zero.
we have some flies. All right, so the first thing we got to value, we've said is passionately pursuing God. What does that mean when I throw that phrase out there?
To me, when I mean, we got to run to him.
Yeah.
But it's a challenge to do that because it's going to probably require us to start sacrificing and giving things up to focus on him. But when I hear pursuing God, passionately pursuing God, I've written down we have to chase him down. We have to run to him. So that's where I'm at on that one.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. You can go ahead and you asked me like you want to speak, but
No, I'm just
you're just
looking
enjoying
over
it.
at you.
Okay.
Yeah.
For me, the passionately pursuing God, I feel like it's a disciplinary thing for myself. Like I have to keep myself in check. Am I really going forward towards it? But I'm going to kind of like throw this back a little bit. Okay, so what if we have a new believer that's listening to this podcast? And because I know several that are.
Hopefully they are.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
And for me, if I was like a brand new believer, I think I would be pretty intimidated by passionately pursuing God. Like, how do we approach that? How do we encourage that person in a very simplistic way of explaining what that means? Because, like, I mean, I'm a little intimidated by it, you know, and I've been a Christian all my life. Like, I don't. So, if you have any thoughts.
I think it's important to not get caught up on. I mean, we have a lot of like qualifying words just to try to make it more specific for people and to make it, I don't know, I mean, more understandable in some ways. But I was teasing Chris earlier, like we don't have to get so specific about the adverbs because they're just descriptors. Really what we care about is pursuing God. And whether we're doing it passionately, that might be a goal we're working towards. But I think passion is different for everyone anyways, because like for me, I'm a bit of a passionate person. And so when I think of passion, I'm like, okay, I'm like going all out. And so I think that's important that I want to do that. But I also think that it's difficult to, in my eyes, the way I see being passionate is a little bit difficult to keep that pace realistically for always. Because I think there's ebbs and flows and there's seasons. And like, if we think, it depends on your personality. If you're somebody who like needs something to be pushing them, like kind of giving you a little push all the time, then that maybe helps push you because you are like, oh, reminding yourself, like you said, I need to remind myself it's a discipline. So I need to remind myself a little bit about what I need to be. I need to be passionate. It's not just like I'm going with a humdrum daily check off the list kind of thing, but more of like for me, passion reminds me that it's a relationship, that this is something that I want to pursue. Especially when I was newly in love with Chris, so thinking of a new relationship, you know, someone who's in a new relationship with the Lord, it's all very new. It's exciting. It wasn't difficult to remember to call him or remember to write him or remember to whatever. Because I was excited. It was new. I think as we get more familiar with the Lord is a little bit different, and maybe a regular relationship with a person is that the more we know about him, the more it draws us into him, and the more we want to be with him. And so I think that it's one of those things where in the beginning, yeah, it's all new, and that's okay. it doesn't, just because you don't know a ton doesn't mean you aren't passionate for him.
Absolutely.
What you want to be passionate about is wanting to get to know him more, wanting to spend time with him. For me, some of the words that Gary used, chasing him down, I played basketball. I was very aggressive. I love to be, if you talk about being passionately pursuing, I was like, I started out playing basketball. I was tall early, so I played under the basket. And so as I got older and everyone else grew, I was then now short and small. So I had to be very aggressive and wild to keep position under the basket and whatever. So I was very passionate and going crazy and gave it my all. The Lord has many times while I was a young person and even reminded me since then, you're willing to go crazy, in a ball game. Will you be willing to give of yourself, everything that you have for me, and be passionate for me? And that looks different for everybody. That's why I'm saying I think your personality plays into it. But I think that I think it's a qualifier. I don't think it has to be, I think it has to be different for everybody.
Okay.
Yeah, and I would say passion is revealed in what we do. So I am not passionate about hunting. So I'm not getting up early in the morning. I'm not thinking about the sense I have. I'm not, and you wouldn't say that guy's passionate about hunting, but it's obvious in what you do that it's a priority. That's why I actually like the word passion, because it implies an inner motivation towards something. What that looks like may be different, and we're never going to do that perfectly. I think you're exactly right. I actually think having passion is easier for people that are new in the Lord. I don't fully understand it all, but I've encountered somebody that changes everything for me. Passion for me is usually harder for people that have been around longer. It's just so comfortable and casual that I forget that I need to stoke it. And yet there's also some beauty in saying I've developed rhythms and patterns in my life that are a reflection of being passionate. I mean, I don't wake up in the morning so excited to write Amy and text her. I don't do that. I'm not going to pick up a phone and call her because she can go shopping for hours and never call me once. And yet at the same time, I find my on my phone and I know where she is, because I'm like, she's been gone, like she did the other night. She was gone I'll be back by 7 and it's 9 o'clock. Well, I had been tracking. I'm like, oh, I know where she is. Well, that's still an expression of passion for her. It's changed because it's matured and it's grown. So
that's not passion, that's stalking.
Oh. Whatever.
Just kidding.
Potato, it's fine. No, but I do think for me the answer to that question is it's expressed in what I value. And that's why I like that term, values. I'm passionate about something because I give myself to it. I take time thinking about it. I take time preparing for it. That's what I mean. I don't mean hysterical emotions. I mean, look, this is important enough to me that I'm willing to put energy and effort and sacrifice for it. That's how I would see passion.
Right.
Great question.
Okay.
All right. Anyone else? Anyone find things challenging about that?
I would ask why, because we asked, what does that mean? But why is it important for us to pursue God? It may seem obvious, but I think it's a little bit hard to maybe define that, to answer that question. Why should we be pursuing God?
It's not hard at all for me. I mean, I don't know if anybody else wants to jump in.
Well, I mean, it doesn't happen on accident. I mean, relationship is something that we build. Relationship is something that we work on. It goes both directions. We can't expect that God's just pursuing us, although he does. He chases us down. He leaves the 99 to come after the one. So he does chase us down, and yet we have to respond to him. We have to meet him halfway. And so I think for me, the pursuit matters, because that means that we want relationship with him. So it's our effort to go after him, and then he meets us right where we are. So I think the pursuit matters, because it's what shows him that we want relationship with him. It's the effort we make towards the relationship.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's true in almost every one of our relationships. But I think for me, there's a step beyond that. The reason we want relationship is because in him is life. I mean, it's a word that I've used over and over again in the series, and it's something for me the older I get, the more convinced I am is necessary. In him is life.
Mm-hmm.
Nowhere else. And so when I pursue him, I'm pursuing the life that he offers and provides and gives. That's obtained in the context of relationship. So you can't get it any other way. It has to be done in that. But for me, that word life, and we've mentioned it in both the mission statement, the vision statement, and here, apart from him, there is no life. I mean, there is living, but he's our source of life. And so I need to be pursuing him because I'm pursuing the life that he provides in the context of relationship. And the times I get into trouble or live under less is when I forget he's my source of life and I rely on myself, I rely on others, I rely on something other than. And then I find, well, my life is somehow less. And it's because I quit chasing him down. I quit pursuing him. I forgot that it's in the context of relationship that the life comes. So for me, that's that part of our statement. We want to love people into life. What life? The only source of life, the most incredible life that affects every other thing. When I'm living in the fullness of that life, my relationship with Amy is different. My relationship with my kids is different. My relationship with everybody around me is different. My relationship with the stuff around me is different. So that to me, the short answer to that is because where else do I find life from him? So I want to chase him down for it.
Yeah. I think pursuing God, growing up, I just thought, that's what I have to do because I'm a Christian. That's just the role you play in. And to me, it kind of goes back to what Gary and I talked about a couple weeks ago or a couple episodes ago prior, our identity. If we're identifying ourselves, even though we're saying we're pursuing God, but we're still identifying ourselves with other things of the world, you're not going to have that passion that should be there. And correct me if I'm wrong, but this is just kind of my point of view. But I don't know if maybe sometimes it would take people just getting to rock bottom at times. I know for me it took that. So it may take other people to realize that's what I stand on to kind of fuel that fire for the passion to drive that way. But like you said, it's kind of what you put your time and effort in. You're identifying whatever's around you in determining how you're going to react to pursuing God. That's just me. Yeah. Sure. But that makes sense. If that makes sense. So
my answer is a little darker, but it goes with yours.
Thanks, Gary.
We are being pursued, whether we want to recognize it or not. We are being pursued by the enemy. I mean, Satan's out there to get us. That's just the truth. Biblical. It's the truth about it. Yeah. So I think of like if I was a little kid and there was a wolf after me, I would run to my dad. I would run to protection, and that's why I think it's important, because if we're not pursuing God, we're more susceptible to the enemy.
Sure.
So that's where I'm at with that.
And that actually goes off of what Emily just talked about. Like some people have to hit rock bottom in order to realize the importance of the pursuit. And our goal is to not have to do that.
Yes.
Like to be in a relationship, to run to the safe place, to be in the protection, to be under the umbrella of his protection where we don't have to worry about the enemy getting us or allowing ourselves to get in a spot where we are desperate enough, where we do hit rock bottom. But we do that. And like Emily said, she has, and others of us have also been in desperate 100%. Situations where we don't pursue him in the same way, or just life circumstances happen. And so I think our pursuit changes in our desperation.
Yes.
So I do think we grow more in those hard times, and our pursuit changes because of our need for him. But our goal is, what we really want is to just be able to have that kind of pursuit of relationship. Yeah. What part of that, and I don't know if we're taking too long, so you can cut me off, but what do you think? What part of that is intimidating to you? I'm curious. Is it the language?
It's comparison.
Okay.
Because if I see other people that maybe have are more involved in the church, seem to be a better Christian. I'm just going to be real right now.
Yeah, sure. No.
Because, seem to be a better Christian or have it together better, I get intimidated. Like, okay, they're pursuing God better or more than me. And I'm like, I'm not doing enough, not doing what I should be doing, just from the looks of comparing whatever they're doing, saying to my own life. So I get intimidated. And so I think, okay, if I was a new believer coming in and say I see somebody worshiping, raising their hands, or, maybe know a scripture like by heart, I don't know. I think I would be like intimidated. Okay, well, I don't know that scripture by heart. Yeah. So they must be really passionately pursuing God. Maybe I'm not doing it enough. So I don't know. Is that...
Yeah,
makes sense?
I know what you're saying. Yeah,
yeah, I hear what you're saying. I don't know that's so much a new Christian, although it could be. I think that's probably those of us that have been around a bit longer. But I think your core point is still really valuable. Look, comparison is the thief of joy, is an expression, and it's absolutely true. I think one of the things we absolutely have to keep in mind on all of these things, these are not now measures to say somebody else is doing it better than me or somebody else. This is just saying, look, I'm going to value pursuing God, and that's going to look different from person to person. That should look different from person to person because we all look different. But at the same time, you can see marks of genuineness. If I say I love hunting but never go hunting, then I don't really love hunting. But if I say I love the Lord and I'm pursuing Him, okay, there's usually evidences of those things, and it isn't going to look the same. So I think your point is still really valid. Okay. We can't compare my pursuit with somebody else's pursuit. I think we can allow it to inspire us if it does. We can allow it to challenge us on some levels, but I think we also need to recognize, well, my pursuit may not look exactly like, and not use that as an excuse to then do nothing, but also do something, which kind of raises the next value. So we're going to transition to the next value, which is authentically worshiping God. I think we talk about comparison game, and I think worship is a huge comparison game if we're not careful. Well, I do this and you do that, and we do this and we do that, and yeah, I think we should think about how we worship God and the kind of worship that He's worthy of. But I also think it's got to be authentic, it's got to be genuine, and that is going to look differently from everybody else. So talk to me a little bit about what does it mean to authentically worship God?
To me, it's music.
Okay.
I'm sure there's other forms of worship, but for me, music comes to mind. And it's something I struggled with when I first, because the church I came from was Methodist, choir robes. They had just transitioned to like acoustic worship team stuff, but everybody stood, sang the hymns, but that was it. It was more monkish than it was like a worship. And
I love that word.
Monkish.
It's what it seemed like. I mean, it was, I don't know. It just was, this was a new experience to me when I came here and people are actually participating, is what I would say, in worship. Hands raised, singing, moving about. It was challenging to me. Like, I'm not going to lie. It was like, what are these weirdos doing? Right?
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
And as I've grown, as I've become closer to God, I can see, I've started to be more engaged in worship. And the music, and I talked to a couple other guys about this a couple Sundays ago. It came up and they volunteered it too. It just draws tears from my eyes. Like, I'm not crying. I am crying, but it's not like it's emotional, like I'm tore up. It's just the power of the words and the lyrics. My spirit starts to cry. Like, I don't know why, but tears rolling down my face on certain songs at certain times. But that's where I'm at with worship.
I love it.
Oh, me?
Oh, you. Come on.
Well, I had thoughts, but then I'm like, I probably shouldn't share them.
Why?
I just called people weirdos. I think you're clear for a little bit.
Well, okay, so authentically worshiping God. So I've had conversations with people before about like bigger churches versus smaller churches and their worship teams, going back to your worship. And they have specifically said, how do we know like they're real and it's not just some concert up there? So to me, I'm thinking, okay, well, it really depends on the person's heart. It doesn't matter what, Tom, Dick, or Harry's up there doing, whether they're like waving flags. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that.
You kind of did.
You said it.
You did say it.
I'm so sorry. Okay. I shouldn't say. Cut that out, Tim. Anyway, to me, it kind of, we've talked about this before, but it shouldn't matter what other people are doing because they're going to be the ones giving account later on. And so for me, it goes down to what's in your heart. Like at that moment, are you focused on yourself, or are you focused on who everybody or how everybody else is doing whatever? If they're up there for show, because they have a good voice or anything like that, that's on them.
Yeah.
That's not on me. And so for me, that's how I think of it. It's a heart thing. And that's what I try to tell people when they talk to me about that.
Sure.
So for me, it's your heart's position.
Sure.
So.
Yeah, I think that is what makes it authentic.
Yeah.
I mean, it has to be your heart's position to be whether you're authentically worshiping him or not, because it's just genuine. I mean, I think for me, there's two different kinds of worship in a sense that for me, I think like, am I worshiping him in my own time? Am I spending time with him where I'm actually just worshiping him? I don't have a worship team. I don't have, I can play music on my own, but can I worship him just in my heart? For me, that can be a challenge sometimes because I get self-conscious or whatever, even when it's just me and him sometimes. But those have been some of the most beautiful times, actually, for me, has been just worshiping between me and him, or even of us as a family. Yeah. But also at church, I think that we can get distracted. I think that the people that are leading worship can lead us genuinely into worship, and they can be absolutely authentic. Of course, it's not our job to judge whether they're authentic or not, because there's no way for us to know their heart. They can have the appearance of being surrendered or whatever you want to call it. I feel like we have been blessed with a really awesome worship team that does lead us into that place. But I think for me, it makes a difference where I am in the church, because if I'm around people that are also worshiping, or I'm like by myself-ish, where it's just me and God, it's easier for me to be authentic because I'm not worrying about anyone else. I'm not thinking about anyone else. I'm in my own world. I am sometimes distracted by am I turned around and facing the people because I'm so lost in worship? All of a sudden I can be so busy worshiping and literally be lost in myself and not even have a clue what's happening around me. So for me, worshiping is just allowing, like Gary said, it can become, I think worship can be very emotional, because I think that music does play on our emotions, whether we want it to or not. I think it does if we allow ourselves to be open to that. But for me, I allow the Holy Spirit to come in and to, I invite him in order for him to be able to do whatever it is that he wants to do in me. And I'm also expressing how I feel about him and what he's done for me. And so for me, worship is a really important part of my walk and relationship with God, just having an opportunity to pour out my heart to him and my thanks to him and my gratitude and whatever.
I think the challenge with worship, and Emily, you touched on a little bit, is it's a heart issue, really. And so, in our church, we want people to feel free to worship him. And so that means there are moments where there can be expressions that, because they're so foreign to us, that we kind of are like, oh, is that a thing? Yeah. I'm not a dancer. And so, and there are some people who are dancers, and it would almost, I say this carefully, Jesus, I would almost never be able to dance authentically, because I would be so conscious of myself that it could never be something real. And so when I see somebody else dancing, there's a bit of that of self-projection onto that situation. And I think if you've been in church long enough, we've all seen some stuff where you're like, okay, that person, are they really being genuine or not? And ultimately you can't control that, but you also have to recognize there is a distraction factor in some of it as well. And so there's a bit of a tension between the two. But I think ultimately what we want to be is people who value authentically worshiping him, because he's worthy of it, because it's a way to express ourselves to him, to connect with him in our worship, to align ourselves with him in worship. What other people do, again, not everybody has to be responsible for that. So I said it on the Sunday I shared this. Close your eyes. Yeah. And then it's you and him. And then at some point, I, as the pastor, have to be able to be willing to say, okay, if there's somebody who we are like, okay, they're not really being genuine, then I have to be willing to go and talk to them. That's not an exciting prospect, but it's something that in order to have a space of freedom where people can worship, where they can grow. I love what Gary said. I started this place. I'm now in this place, and I love where I am now. We got to value helping people to get to that place of authenticity in their worship. And for some, that might mean, hey, I'm going to pick up a flag and wave it to the Lord. I'm going to ask them as the pastor to think about where they do that. Because if it's for Jesus, it doesn't matter where you are. And so that's some things that we can navigate collectively to help do that well and help people move people along in that. Okay, so that's the second. Let's talk about two more. The third one is fully embracing the Spirit's power. What is that concept? When I say that, what does that mean to you?
I have no answer on that.
And that's okay. That's fine.
Okay.
For me, embracing the Spirit's power is being willing to allow the Holy Spirit to work in me and allow him to use me in the way that he chooses to do so. So I'm embracing his power, and that the Holy Spirit's purpose really is for us to be empowered by him, to be a bolder witness for him, to be able to be a representative of him. Like, one of my prayers is, Lord, I want you to fill me to the point that there's an overflow, that other people can see you in me or through me, that I can be your hands extended, that I'm not just so like I'm barely making it to the point that I don't have enough to give to someone else. That I get to that point sometimes where I'm like, okay, I have to go back to the Lord. He needs to fill me up, because I'm like, easily irritated if I just need to help this person with one thing. That's a sign to me, like, okay, I am not fully empowered by the Holy Spirit right now. I am being empowered by Amy Stubbs, and I am not doing a great job because of it. So for me, it's being able to allow the Lord to use me in whatever way he's choosing, whether that I'm teaching, whether I'm just encouraging someone, whether I'm praying with someone, whatever it is that he's asking me to do. There can be multiple things that he's asking me to do. However he's asked me to serve him. And also just the representative that I am for him as I'm just walking around in regular life, am I filling myself up with him enough and allowing him to be and for me, part of that is it's a control thing. Like, am I willing to surrender myself enough to him that I'm willing to let his Spirit flow through me?
That's a great point.
Yeah.
I think I understand the idea of the Holy Spirit, and I see like the working of it in the Bible and in people's lives. But when it comes to me, it's a little bit nerve-wracking, I guess. It's uncomfortable because you are relinquishing some of yourself, I feel like. And we've actually talked about this a little bit with speaking in tongues with the Holy Spirit. I wrote down that I understand it, but it's difficult for me to do. And am I really hearing what the Lord is saying to me? That's a question that I have a lot. Like, is this really God telling me this? I made a change in my job, just a lateral change from one company to another, and that took a lot of prayer. And I was uncertain about it, and I crept into it. And this has been 6 or 7 years ago now. But I just like, okay, Lord, I'm going to take a step forward, and if it's not supposed to happen, you'll shut the door. And I was allowed to take that step. I was like, okay, I'm going to take one more step and see. And I just walked it out step by step by step, praying each time, if this is not what I'm supposed to do, end it here, stop it here. And I ended up making that switch. And I think it was God's will for me to do that. But hearing his voice through that process I was uncertain about it. And it comes to, we've talked about proximity to God. It's a constant theme throughout, your messages and things like that. And the closer we are to him, the better we hear his voice. And I think you've talked about it because Holly told me you spoke about this like on Wednesday. Hearing his voice, is this really what the Lord wants me to do? Well, the only way you're going to do that is draw closer to him. Like we said in Passionately Pursue God, the closer you get to him, the more you recognize his voice. Holly gave me the example. She was talking about this beforehand. But if your dad walked into the room and said your name, your back was turned to him and he said your name, you would know it was him. Or if your best friend walked in a crowded room and hollered for you, you would recognize the voice because you know that person. You're close to that person. So that's kind of where I am on the fully embracing the Spirit's power. I'm trying to, but I'm still very uneasy and unsure about it.
Sure.
That's a great analogy. I like that. You said you would recognize your own father's voice in the room or best friend.
Yeah.
Okay. I like that. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
I think at times we hear phraseology like this and we almost mystify it. Like it's this thing I can't quite understand and can't quite grasp. The Bible tells us that the same Spirit that rose Christ from the grave lives in us.
Blows my mind.
And all this really is intended to encourage us to do is to people who say, I recognize your Spirit is in me if I love you, if I've confessed you as Lord and Savior, if I've invited you in, and I forget how often you're there with me. So it's not just, Amy's talked from a ministry perspective, but I'm like, what allows me to say no to that temptation that I've said yes to forever? Well, it's the Spirit's power that helps you. What allows me to go left instead of right when I've always gone right? Well, that's the Spirit's power. I think we mystify it at times, and we forget what allows me to in worship sing when I've never sung, or raise my hands when I've never done that, or to read His Word and understand it, or feel like God's speaking to me. I think sometimes we mystify this to the point that we forget it's everything that He does for us. I mentioned when I preach this, He changes people. That changes in embracing of the Spirit's power. He emboldens us. I could do this thing and I never was able to do this thing. That's the Spirit's power. I think it even in terms of sending us out, He causes me to go talk to somebody about Jesus, and I've never been able to do that before.
Yeah.
That's the Spirit's power. I think especially at times in a Pentecostal church, we're like, well, it's reserved to speaking in tongues and prophesying, and that's the only, no, it's so much more, so much broader than that. Yes, that's part of it. Yes, it might mean that He does that at some point with some people in some spaces, but really the broader application is it's what our lives are. I want to embrace the Spirit's activity, His power to change me, to mold me, to walk with me, to be with me, and to navigate. And to me, this one goes so naturally with the next one, which is boldly employing prayer. How can I pray anything? Well, it's because the Spirit lives in me and prays through me. And so to me, these two are interconnected. This last one of boldly employing prayer. If I don't believe the Spirit's with me, then I don't believe my prayer does anything. But when I believe the Spirit is with me, then I believe my prayer does something. So I think they're kind of interconnected. As I was processing in preparation, I see these two connected. So how do we feel? So I'm going to transition on to the next one now. To me, embracing the Spirit's power is just saying He's present, He's in me, and I'm going to let Him do what He wants to do in me and through me. I think we don't need to mystify it beyond what it should be. So even when you say, I don't even know how to answer that, yeah, you actually do, because He's altered you, He's changed you, He's walked with you, He's been present with you. We just don't frame it that way because we hear this phraseology and freak out. Boldly employing prayer. What does that mean? Talk to me a little bit as we begin to wind this episode down. What does it mean to boldly?
For me, I have to step out and do it. And I think of in my Bible study that I'm currently attending, you get the nervous jitters when it's like we close and everybody says, okay, who wants to pray? And nobody says anything. And I'm like, okay, I'll do it. I'll do it. But then for me, like, I know it's being bold because when I start praying, I recognize it's not me making these words. There's no way I would have ever come up with what I just said. And, one girl, she's so nice. She's like, I just love when you pray. I'm like, it's not me. It's not me. And so, I don't know, I guess just kind of just releasing that nervousness. I don't know. Yeah. And just starting. Just start the prayer and the Spirit will take it on and handle it itself, and that's how I see it. It's just step into it and get going.
I love it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think for me, and that's obviously praying publicly, which is a big deal, especially when you aren't used to that, or you don't have an opportunity, haven't had an opportunity to before, or haven't taken the opportunity. For me, I'm just thinking about like, what do I have for just like, do I have a prayer life? Is it something that I do? Everything that happens prayer is what our relationship with the Lord is based on, because it's our opportunity to communicate with him. It's the time that we talk to him. It's the time that we can sit and listen and allow him to speak to us. That's where I do learn to hear his voice, Gary, where I encourage people when I was teaching the other night I think it was that night, but anyways, at some point where I was saying, sit down with a journal. Like when I spend some time with the Lord and I'm praying, I'm not just going through a list of things to him. I'm also just talking to him like I would in a relationship, sharing where I'm at, what's going on in my heart, like what's going on in life, asking him to work in different situations. And I'm also asking his will on things, and then sitting and waiting to hear his voice speak to me. And when he does, and he'll just drop a word that comes in like out of seemingly nowhere, that just comes in, and I'm like, this has to be the Lord. It's happened to me enough that I recognize it for what it is. Not every time. I question him sometimes, and I also want to know for sure this is him. But I write down the things that he says, because I don't always remember it, and also because that's how I keep learning to know him. As I write it down, it's like I'm like solidifying it and saying, okay, Lord, I heard you and I believe you. And I'm like writing this down as this is a thing that the Lord said to me. That's how I learned to hear his voice, like more often and more clearly. And then it's also a way that I like to have, like I have a way to go back and look, like when the Lord spoke to us about coming here to Bedford, it was through my journaling. I went back and I looked, and like through almost an entire year, he had been speaking small things. And as I put them in order and saw them, I'm like, oh, this is so obvious what he's been saying. But if I didn't have something to go back to, I wouldn't have known like all the little things that all added up. So for me, prayer is just like my way to communicate and spend time with the Lord. It goes together with everything we've talked about. Prayer is part of passionately pursuing him. It's part of just having a relationship with him personally. And then out of that, other things flow.
Absolutely.
And that's where I'm challenged, by the way, the most, just because it's taking time for it.
I'm challenged in praying in certain areas. Like I pray every morning with Rylan because I drop him off at school, and I always pray for his protection, and then Brinley and Holly's protection at the schools. I pray over the schools, so I can pray for that. I can thank God for the things that he's given me, but I struggle to ask him for stuff, and I don't know. It probably goes like your message on Sunday was really good about us not always getting what we ask for, because sometimes that's the best thing for us, is for us not to get what we want. So I do struggle to ask God for certain things in my life because it may not align with his will, and I want them to align with his will. I want to do what he wants me to do and those types of things. I want the things that he wants for me and my family. But there are some things I'd like to have that I'd like to ask for that I would like for him to give me.
Yeah.
But I do struggle to ask him for, I guess, specific things because they're probably just for my benefit. And
that's not necessarily wrong.
Yeah.
Right. But
he knows how to give good gifts. He wants to give good gifts.
True. That's true. It's biblical.
Yeah. No, I think kind of as we wrap it up a little bit, for me, this idea of understanding what we're doing when we're praying is what allows us to be bold. When I'm praying for myself, when I'm praying for others, when I'm praying against the enemy, I mean, you rightly said that's part of what we do. Prayer is that communication with God. It's that intimacy with God. It's how we stand on his word. It's what we declare over families, what we declare that the Lord has spoken over life. It's how we deal with the enemy. I think there's just so many things contained
Praying
in
for
it.
healing.
Praying those, receiving of the promises that he gives to us. It's all part of it. But again, it all flows from kind of all of these go together in one sort of a stair step as I'm pursuing God, I'm worshiping God. As I'm worshiping God, I'm embracing the Spirit's power to change, to embolden, to release, to do whatever He wants to do in me. As I do those things, I understand the purpose of prayer is to accomplish all that stuff in me and through me. And so I value it. Again, not that we do it perfectly. We're not going to do any of this perfectly. I can value something without doing it perfectly. And that to me is the challenge of the value, is that I do it. I highly esteem it. I'm growing in it. I'm walking towards it, but I'm not doing it perfectly. And so I value it. And I value it because I'm growing in these areas. I'm seeing advancement and all that kind of stuff in all of them. So as we think about the values, those are the first 4. And we'll catch the next 4 in the next episode.
Yep. Thanks for hanging out with us. I know we went a little bit long, but hopefully this was good and beneficial. We'll catch you next time.
This has been The Cast, a production of Bedford First Assembly of God in Bedford, Indiana. Your hosts were Emily Taylor and Gary West, produced by Shannon Hiles and Tia Hiles, and engineered by Tim Ray. Be sure to watch for new episodes of The Cast every Monday.